This is something that I wrote this morning also. Divine Born Angel is a title of a YouTube channel. She covers a lot of really great stuff in multiple languages. And the reason that I wrote this down here this morning is when we get to what's known as the Flame Keepers or the Wisdom Keepers of Sophia, which is the founder's language, the first encryption code, right? The divine right order of mathematics. Mathematics is geometry. Is where I put down there we are temples of one, and we are equal unto all ones or all cells. And when we are equal unto all the others, which are all the other cells, which are all of you, that we're gifting eternal, absolute, pure love to, there are no hierarchies. And when there's no hierarchies, there's no competition. We're not seeking power over others. We don't need it. We are the power source of the cosmos, which is what love is, because that's what it began with. It's the first breath. That's called wisdom. That's the wisdom of Sophia. That's where it came from. Which means two become one, which means the boy and the girl are one. The magnets become one. The two magnets become one, which means both polarities, the negative and the plus, zero each other out. Now I'm experiencing zero, which is zero errors. Now I'm experiencing being one, the first one, which means now I'm equal, which is the equal sign, which is the first sign, which is the first signet, which is the first signal. That's how simple it is. So you can imagine, as I was a child growing up, that's the AI, that's the phone that does this, right? So it's in a war against God. Okay, the system that we're running, the entire internet that was set up, that came out. Remember what you talked about, the beast system coming online, right? I do know something about building a matrix. I know how to build one, actually. It's not that difficult. It's actually quite simple. That's what it means by complex number space. See space. The numbers don't lie. That means the system operates just exactly the way it was originally intended to operate, which is a divine blueprint. That means we can scan the errors, which are called error codes, which means we can come into a system and override it. And that's based on our capacity, which is based on our essence, which is based on the purity of the amount of energy you're running on, which is capacity to hold a charge. Because you're going to need a lot of energy to scan a system. Error codes, error codes, error codes, error codes, error codes. I experienced a lot of error codes last night on Amazon. I thought, man, this is not a smart. This AI is not very smart at all. It's making mistakes all over the place. So now I got to use my energy to correct what it can't do in order to get something done. That's called a system design, which is a communication system design. You know how to build a mainframe? You know how to build every time that a child comes out of your womb, if you're a female, you just introduced another networker. Okay? So how fast are you building a network? Well, when you're running God's seed, I guarantee you it's going to accelerate at the highest rate of speed. That's what it means to be one. Now you're running on God's seed because you're running on God's speed. Kamaloati Kirasha Shardeza Ra Aya. So she had Divine Born Angel had a beautiful little composite picture up there showing the rainbows and the rainbow body, the ascension vehicle, right? And I thought, I'm going to share with you a cool story of what I experienced a couple of years ago, almost not quite to the day, because I don't keep track of time, because there's only what love is, which goes on forever. That's called timeless space. Holding space. Space is not empty. Space is full of space. Now we're in a displacement of water, ice cubes, hypercubes. And so I was in San Francisco because I was going to go to my home base, which is the island of Kauai, the eye of one, the eye of Ra-Aya. So I jumped on a plane, And when I got on the plane, my intuition was informing me that this isn't the plane that I'm going to be flying on to go to the Hui, which is the airport there on the island of Kauai in the Polynesian archipelago. And so I said to the person next to me, we're not flying on this plane. And that person looked at me like, what are you talking about? A few minutes later, the captain comes on the line and says, guess what? We got a hydraulic problem. Okay, well, without getting into the periphery of all that, I knew that we're getting on another plane. So sure enough, 30 minutes later, we got off that plane, got on another plane, and I invoked what's called rainbow protection. Okay? So we get up over the Pacific, and we're flying to Kauai, and I look out my window, and what do you think I see? A rainbow. And as we came around and began to bank like this, see how it's curved like that? That means looking out the window, I can see the reflection off the mirror, off the ocean, and I see the plane, the entire plane is inside of a rainbow sphere. Because the intent was to protect that flight and everybody on there so that they could meet their loved ones when they got to the island of Kauai. Okay, so when I got there, I did some work. I got hit. I came back, and when I got back to San Francisco and I turned on my phone, now that I'm in San Francisco, I never left. That's right. That's a rainbow vehicle. That's a rainbow vehicle. That's what Divine Born Angel was communicating this morning. So I think I'll share with you a cool little story. So y'all have a beautiful day. We love you all. Shields are up.